Okay, my name is Josiah.Irvin, and this is my assignment for how climate impacts agriculture. Introduction to climate change and agriculture. Agriculture, excuse me. Climate change refers to a long-term changes in temperature, weather, and other atmospheric conditions due to human activities, primarily the burning of fossil fuels. The phenomenon has far-reaching effects on the various spheres of life. For example, agriculture. The the altercation in temperature, fluctuation in rainfall, frequencies of severe weather like droughts and floods can disrupt the development of crops, reduce the yields, and undermine food chain supplies. Global food security is provided by agriculture, which feeds billions of individuals. Agriculture also forms the backbone of the economy, especially in developing economics where agriculture is one of the major sources of revenue. As the danger, as the dangers of ag- agricultural pro- productivity presented by climate change rises, its effects on economic stability and food security become all more critical. What is climate change? Climate change refers to a long-term alteration in global temperature, precipitation, and weather extremes. Human activities, including combustion of fossil fluids and defor- deforestation, emit greenhouse gases, causing global warming, altered weather patterns more frequent waves, for more frequent heat waves, storms, and rising sea level, affecting ecosystem, agricultural, and human societies. Human activities like burning of the fossil fuels, defor- deforestation, industrial activities, agricultural, and waste of disposal release gases, leading to climatic disturbances and global warming. Deforestation, deforestation. Excuse me, I apologize. I cannot pronounce this word. I apologize. Deforestation, particularly releases carbon stored in trees, making the issues more serious. Temperature changes in agriculture. Rising temperatures due to climate change can cause extreme heat stress to livestock and crops. In crops, exposure to high temperatures for an extended duration of time can stunt growth, damage plant tissues, and interfere with essential processing processes like photosynthesis and pollen pollination that ultimately leads to low yields and poor quality products. Crops such as grains, fruits, and vegetables are particularly vulnerable as heat can disrupt their growth phases, leaving them more vulnerable to disease and pests. In livestock, heat stress undermine the animal's ability to regulate body temperature, leading to reduced feed intake and lower growth rates. It can also lower fer- fertility lead to de- lead fertility lead to dehydration and predispose animals to heat related illness and disease. As a result, overall productivity declines and farmers spend more due to the need for other resources like water and cooling facilities. This buildup impacts has a cost on food production and security, which further aggravates the issues of feeding a growing global population. Shift in perception pattern. Climate change may lead to a shift in rainfall patterns that lead to floods as well as droughts. Irregular or reduced rainfall may lead to droughts without withholding areas or sufficient water supply for agricultural activities and other uses. Excessive local rainfall can block drainage channels leading to flooding. Droughts significantly affect water supply for irrigation, preventing the upkeep of crops without adequate water. Crops do not survive, resulting in reduced yields, crop losses, and food shortages in in irrigated regions heavily dependent on irrigation, dry periods can undermine crop survival and the livelihood of farmers. Long-term risks and adaptation strategies. Adaptation to climate change and agriculture involves making change to agricultural methods such as farming drought-resistant crops to build resilience to changing weather patterns. Climate climate resilient technology investments such as precision farming and new irrigation systems enable optimal use of resources and improved output across diverse conditions. Police, excuse me, policy support such as subsidized and crops insurance is required to protect farmers from loss during unfavorable weather and reduce economic vulnerability. Together, they promote sustainability and long-term agricultural productivity under a changing climate. Long-term risks include reduced excuse me. Long-term risks include reduced crops yields, shifting growing regions, and increased food insecurity. Climate change may force farmers to adapt to new conditions threatening productivity. This could lead to a this could lead to a higher food prices and greater challenges for vulnerable populations. Conclusion. In conclusion, climate change is already influencing agriculture and its future effects will be determined by the pace and success of adaptation. By adopting new farming methods, investing in climate resilient technologies, and enacting supportive policies, risk can be reduced and food security guaranteed. Without prompt action, however, the long-term implications could be decreased crop production, altered agricultural zones, and increased food insecurity. How I created this presentation. I started this presentation by explaining what climate change is. By what is climate change? Climate change refers to a long-term shifts in temperature, weather patterns, and environmental conditions on Earth, primarily driven by human activities like burning fossil fuels. In result, global temperatures, more frequent extreme weather events, and disruptions to the ecosystem and agriculture. Then I had explained how climate change affects crops, soil, grain, fruit, vegetables, etc. I also explains the shift of precipitation patterns, which can cause droughts or floods, which can cause local drain pipes to be blocked from water. To wrap everything up, I explained the long-term effects of of how climate change impacts agriculture, which which is the long-term risks include reduced crops yield, shifting growing regions, and increased food insecurity. Climate change may force farmers to adapt to new conditions, threatening productivity. This can also lead to higher food prices and greater challenges for the vulnerable population. Thank you.